Doom Force. That's all I just want to start this.
Nope.
What's up, everybody? It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. Jay Washington.
I'm the swaggy blerd, Winston A. Marshall.
We're here finally for the review for season 3, episode 10, the season finale of Doom Patrol on HBO MAX. Y'all know the drill by now. You should have seen the episode. It's gonna be spoilers. What did you think? Let's just get it out the way.
Yeah.
Season finale.
I mean, great wrap up. There are like certain things that I've kind of felt were in instances a little all over the place with some of the wrap ups and how they played out, but for the most part, everything went really well. I now understand your tweet of Rita far.
When I was like, holy shit, bro. I knew she was gonna hit this level of just mean, right? I knew she was gonna hit this level of anger.
I just didn't think she was gonna put it out on the brain, though.
Nigga, put it out, nigga. She boiled this nigga. She poured a whole kettle of water on this,
bro. And when you thought she was gonna help him, and all of a sudden, like, bro, oh my god.
Which, by the way, means, I mean, now for those, remember, if you've seen this again, you know Cliff has the gigantic robot body. However, the top half of the body is still there, and she found out he has the blueprints, so his body's gonna be. So we're pretty much gonna get the body back. I'm assuming next season because
I don't think he can be in this giant robot forever. I don't know. I think it's long enough to fight the nutsack with arms, and then after that, I feel like maybe he goes back. But I think the only thing that didn't sort of get wrapped is we still just have Vic. We do not have Cyborg anymore. We just have Vic. That's just what it is.
I think the thing with that, as with like most of the show has been, there's always one big thing that carries over. Now, again, granted from season 2 to 3, the finale wasn't the finale because of COVID. I get that. Right. But the thing with the Candlemaker and Dorothy, in a sense, carry over into season 3 by episode 2 or so. And then now that is a surprise I had. I thought her and the Dead Boys Club were going to come back at least. And I was like, oh, we just not.
No, I figured they were gone for the season. There was we've watched enough like Arrowverse stuff. Because again, this is still executive produced by Berlanti, where a character is there for a season of The Flash. They're like, well, thank you, Barry, for teaching me how to be my own hero. I'm going to go ahead and travel back to my time now. Bye. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen it enough that I figured that's what was going on. This was a reoccurring guest star for the course of season 2. I think what is permanent, though, I think we have permanently lost Dalton. I think I think Niles is like done unless maybe
I think Timothy Dalton is. I think that's it. I think he's gone for sure.
And I think that Dalton has been fully replaced now by Michelle Rodriguez and Madame Rouge. I think that has become the new.
You mean Michelle Gomez?
What did I say? Rodriguez.
Michelle Rodriguez.
I'm out here thinking. Yeah, Gomez. I'm out here talking.
Family.
Fast and the Furious.
Family.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they are family, though.
You just family. You got to be listening. No, family.
But I think she's become the permanent part of the cast and the member of the Doom Patrol, where like we fucks with you because we kind of have to, but like you have to prove some shit to us.
Well, you see how Rita was the whole time. Rita was like, "Well, this is the only way I can watch you." But again, there's one part, and I took a screenshot of this. I sent it to you. I put it on Twitter. When Madame Rouge tries to go back in time, and she has that note sent to herself to remind us of everything, and she was like, "Was I really that evil?" And bitch, you turned into a killer baby.
You sent me that.
It's the way that she said it. She was just like, bitch. It wasn't even just a bitch you turned into. It was, bitch, you turned into a killer baby. You know that bitch and the pause? Like, everybody has said that before. Just no matter who, you just like, they say something stupid, you be like, bitch. And then you say what you...
What was the Kevin Hart? There's only one way you can be bad. Bitch. Like it was that. Like,
bitch.
But it was kind of, first of all, Cliff's brain survived falling down that hill. Like,
and the glass shattering.
Bro, what?
But again, here's why, and this is the only thing I can think about. It's that small little tidbit that the brain said about the body. There's a bit of magic in it.
True.
So I think the magic, even though the magic that holds the structure and makes him move, it protects the brain a bit.
Yeah.
No, you know what I'm saying?
Not from Parkinson's, but you know.
That's I mean, look, nigga, it's still a brain. First of all, also, shouts out to Brendan Fraser's like, look, I don't give a fuck. I'm dying anyway. Bitch, kill me. He was like, I don't care. Remember when Rouge threatened to bust his ass open? He was like, I don't give a shit. Like, I have nothing to live for. And I think, again, like we said in the last episode review, the making amends. It's, Cliff and his big ass body making amends with not just Rory and Claire and Mel, but with himself. Yeah. To say, like, look, I fucked up. Like, I got to.
Well, and now that's the interesting thing. I think the one through line that we've had with Jane every season, Jane always deals with whatever conflict she's dealing with in the underground, but always sets in motion the brand new trauma we're going to have to deal with the following season. So in this case, it's like, yo, Dr. Harrison, you piece of shit. Kay is going to die, like, just because you wanted your freedom. So we need to go back. And she's like, I ain't doing it. It's like, bitch, you don't want to survive. You would rather, like she said, you would rather die in control than you would to go back and feel like you're, and so she was like, fine. And so the fact that she made the deal that you become the new primary.
But I don't think that's the deal. What
do you think the deal is?
I think the deal was Jane has therapy. Think about it. She was like, you got to hold up to your end of the bargain, and had her sit down. Jane finally has to have a session with Dr. Harrison. I think
that's the problem. Everybody that has sessions with Dr. Harrison are under her control at that point.
Fair. But again, I don't think, but I don't know if the personalities, it'll fall under that for them. You know what I'm saying? I don't think the personalities would be under control like the average person on the outside would. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I think this is just because, remember, Dr. Harrison was having sessions with Kay. And one of the things, Jane didn't fuck with it. But I think the biggest thing, it seems like, she made her the primary, because even Hammerhair was like, you gave her the primary? Can you even do that? And she was like, I'll deal with that with Kay later. I don't think, now again, I may be wrong. I don't think it was the primary she gave her. I think it was, you finally need to sit down and talk, because Jane don't talk. Remember, Jane don't want to talk about shit. Jane is always just brushing things away. She's always pushing things away. And then guess what else she has to talk about now? Now, her affection for the fog.
Oh, right. That's also true. Because we did notice that. I didn't catch it in the earlier episodes, but I caught it when she was like, I'll come find you. And I was like, Jane should have said, I was like,
you bite of the lip?
Yeah, the little. It was quick. It was subtle.
And it was a smile with it.
And then like a little. I was like, oh.
Because again, Jane hasn't been in love.
Right.
And like,
this is the first time for her.
It's something about Shelley as the fog that connects with her, of an understanding that it's like an unspoken understanding. Because remember, in the candy shop, Kay wants to, there's something about an unspoken understanding between the two of them that Jane has a bond with. So again, Jane has to now address a lot of shit. And I think that's what it is. She finally has to have a session with us, or several sessions with Dr. Harrison.
Yeah. I mean, it'll be interesting, man, to say the very least. It'll be very interesting to see how all this plays out. I found myself probably the most interested in Larry. What's the name of it?
Keek.
It's like, oh no, I speak every language. It's like, it's speaking a language. Well, it's speaking colors. I can read colors.
That's another personality we finally see. Mama Pentecost. Mm-hmm. We hadn't, like, I don't think we'd ever seen Mama Pentecost throughout the entire show, and it was just like, oh. Okay.
I would also venture a guess that also one of my least favorite X-Men, because I feel like they got gypped in power. Cypher, the fact that you can just understand every language. Is that really that great of a power? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, to a certain extent, if you want to be like a politician or some shit, but
this nigga just was like, I want to speak to all my constituents, literally. want to talk to. They're like, you want to speak to everybody. I got you.
I
got
guess
you.
if I'm sorry, it's Mama Pentecost.
Mama Pentecost.
If Mama Pentecost or Cypher, if they're trained to be like the ultimate spy, I mean, that's kind of cool, I guess. But like, you would hope if you have superpowers that they would allow you to do something actually cool. Like, I'm not saying.
But again, she has 64 personalities.
I get it. So that's great. So that's great for the K Jane like body frame. But as far as like if Mama Pentecost was just on her own, bro, can you imagine Superman come up? You in like Injustice World or whatever. You're like, yo, fuck you, Superman, and you say it in like every language. And he's like, really? I peeps thinking you dead. like.
Why you make Superman that petty though? It's Superman. He get cussed out in English. He like whatever.
Have you read Injustice?
I know he just don't give a shit no more.
Because once Lois gets murdered, he's like, nah, fuck it. You do crime, you're dead.
Dead.
Ain't no jail. We're done with jail, son. Murder. That's what goes on. To the point where he's like, oh, things are cool. There's literally a group of like millennial Gen Zers at a rave. And remember, he murdered the Joker. So it's literally he comes in and they're having a party because remember, Joker represented anarchy. And this is an authoritarian rule now. So they're just dressed as the Joker, like, oh, the Joker, you're a piece of shit. And he's like, oh, and he just murders everyone. And they didn't commit a crime. It's just because they were dressed like the Joker. So, like, imagine Mama Pentecost, like, just says some shit and he's like, oh, really, bitch? Like, Jesus. But yo, Mala being like, fuck this shit.
Mala, you got Baton Rouge wake up on the gurney, mad as fuck. Mala was like, let me tell you something, bitch. We normally throw the shit down there. And I spent all night wondering, should I toss you? It was like, you here. And the motherfucker was like, you know what? We had shit good. Do you realize how much of a come to Jesus moment Monsieur Mala had to have?
Bro, Mala straight up saw when the brain got that body, and he was like, you know what?
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks.
Well, that's because what it was, I think it wasn't just the fact the brain had the body. It was brain was he had a relationship, so he was more focused on the woman. Like he'd always remember.
Well, yes, there's that. They had their like kind of relationship going and whatnot. But here's my question: did the brain body?
I knew that's where he was going.
Bro, like, come on. They come out, they do like I mean, you see it all the time in movies, but I specifically think about The Lonely Island when they did the three-way song and they come out after hanging out with the moms, the kiss at the door. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was all like,
Oh, you know what that meant? You know what that kiss meant? Like,
yeah, thank you for last night. And then the fact that he's walking by and his homie was like, hey, man, and he was like, go ahead and get it. Like, bro, I'm worried that the brain fucked in Cliff's body, bro.
I wouldn't be worried. Also, the fact that the brain was able to take the golf cart. Like, here's the crazy part. Everybody is cool with the fact that he now has a body. I think that's the biggest thing. Like, ain't nobody tripping. Everybody just like, I mean, yes, it's him and a gorilla that live in a place, right? But the fact he got a body that everybody just like, man, Carlton made it. He didn't finally did what he been trying to do.
That's all he wanted, man. That's all he wanted. But like, it was just wild to me that he's just out. That's him taking over the world. Is taking over the retirement community. That's all he wanted.
And Mala didn't even want that.
I'm like, because he was like, we had a good life. We were chilling, and he needed me. But now I don't need this. I'm out.
Mala gave up his bandolier, a ray gun, and a copy of an Alanis Morissette CD. And he was like,
he told me it was stolen.
Dude, Mala was like, I'm done with this shit. Like, there's certain parts in this. Again, I understand. I was reading some different reviews from people, and they were saying they felt like there was some holes to things, but the Sisterhood of Dada was not meant to be the way in which they're portrayed in the comics or the cartoon. They were more of a plot device to move forward. Like, I'm going to say this, and this is going to sound like a stretch. It would not surprise me if the villain in season 4 of Doom Patrol is Rita Farr.
Yeah, probably.
It
She
wouldn't
kind of became the villain at the end of this, to be honest with you.
right.
She had to do, like, obviously Rouge did some bad shit, but like she became very selfish for a minute, including like, well, we still have to go down there, and it's like, bitch, once again, you were not in this to go save Cliff. You're in this to go murder Rouge.
Hey,
Look
at the
at Jane.
beginning,
Jane's knocked out. Larry's not doing well. Like his worm thing is dying. I can't do shit. And she's like, Jane will bounce back. Right as Jane happens to come up because Underground's in disarray, bro.
bro, remember at the end when they were talking about being a super team? And she was like, we're going to be a super team. And Jane was like, you want to be superheroes? And she was like, yeah, Jane. And then they cut her ass off. Like, it was like, "Ugh." Like, it's so fucked up. Like, you pull them down and just that's why Jane drops. Like, and I don't think she can explain it. The only person that would ever understand it is Cliff, because Cliff's been in the underground. He's the only one. Like, if he said, well, like somebody got pulled out, like, and it just powers her down. Like, just,
yeah. Yeah, which is interesting though, because there's a point at which they don't always have somebody up top, and then she's at her most vulnerable. Like that is the one that, because normally they just will freely flow as they need to, but it's a complete shutdown. But I want to get back to Larry, because I started talking about that. We diverged. I thought it would, like, as we said, it is indeed a baby. So when we saw the spirit, it is not. It is the same. Like, are you watching Young Justice right now?
No, I'm not. I haven't had a chance to.
No, all good. So essentially, do you do remember though that they have the bioship that they just refer to as Ship, right?
Yeah.
So Ship has a baby, like has a baby Ship. But then Ship, when they go to Mars, it's like, hey y'all, I've lived a good life. I'm like 95 and Ship years, so I'm gonna chill here and live out the rest of my days. But from now on, my baby gonna be your Ship. And the baby Ship is literally like a toddler. It's like, nee! And it's like doing all sorts of flips. And like, can you not? Like, we're not trying to get sick. It's kind of the same thing here. Negative Spirit was like, look, it's been a good run. I gotta go take care of our kid. Peace, nigga.
without even going on an episode of Maury, listen, this is yours. So what I'm gonna need you to do is take responsibility.
You need you to watch the baby, do your thing. I gotta go. And then that was the other thing that was so interesting. Seeing the spirit again coming out of the cocoon was a baby. When we saw its physical form before it went into Larry, it was a small child.
Yeah.
So I think the only thing funnier was then when they're like, we gotta go stop Cliff before he. Oh, I remember the plot hole that I need to talk to you about, but let me finish what I'm talking about right now. When they were like, we gotta stop him. Oh, Vic's like, I ain't got no powers no more. And they're like, ah, shit. And here comes Larry. Larry, if you can do it, you gotta stop. He's like, no words. Just
well, no, Larry wasn't even awake. Think about it. Larry wasn't even.
It was the negative
spirit. It was the baby. It was the
baby. And then poof, just
real quick before you hold your plot point that you said the plot hole. Dude, when Madame Rouge shows back up and Jane says, "Bitch, you turned," and she was like, "Larry, something about Boris Color." She's like, "He's indisposed right now. He just had a baby." And Jane was like, "What?" like he just had a
the fact that like the note she wrote for herself read everyone fulfilled. They were just like, I mean, I guess you're right, bitch. I don't know. This one, what did she say about Jane? She dresses like a
deranged sock puppet.
A deranged sock puppet. And she was like, yeah, well, okay. And
she
then,
looked at
the fact that Vic track suit, and then what was the other thing?
Stick up his ass.
Strap suit. He was like, bitch. Like, and then Rita gonna hate your ass. And then the minute they walk off,
now okay. You were saying.
So the plot hole that I don't understand. You have a situation where Jane is inside of Cliff, trying to be like, yo, I gotta help you. She's pulling all the levers. She sets off the self-destruct. Now he's still walking, but the self-destruct goes, and then we don't hear a single thing again. It's just like, you see Rita go giant man on him, which is kind of dope, and stopping Cliff, but nothing gets talked about the self-destruct. There was not like I undid that, or like we got to pull him from the core. The nigga just stops about to blow up.
Okay, so here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
So here's the thing. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna assume that on the cutting floor from editing is that part, and if that is not the case, That's not the case.
That you know how much I love the show. That was a
I'm
plot hole.
okay. Hold
That was a
on.
pretty
Hold
big
on.
fucking plot
Hold on.
hole.
I have another theory, and again,
Okay.
still may not plug up this hole. Maybe at that moment, Cliff got control of himself when he finally was like, "I want to go home," without them acknowledging it. He finally, because remember, once
It's possible.
Cliff finally got control of himself, because she was like, Jane was like, "You can't sell." He was like, "I don't know how." And so everything finally clicked, because remember, once they get back to the house, he has control of himself now.
Yeah. Yes, I get that. I just still just an acknowledgement of the self-destruct turned off is you know what I'm saying? Like that there should have been.
I thought about that too. I was like,
I literally was like, this is going. I was like, wait, because the only thing that would have been funnier is if Rita stops them. Everybody's like, yay, like whatever. And then they forgot to turn off the self-destruct and the ship blows up and everybody's dead but Madame Rouge. So she goes back in time again and stops them and stops them from blowing up.
But it keeps fucking up, and she got like that would have made the episode long. Like she
keeps wiping her fucking memory because she keeps going back to try and stop the bomb.
And she got a new note stuck to her on every single time.
Bitch, stop the self-destruct. What does that mean? Who are you? What are they?
Now it's like, bitch, then it's like, bitch, go back 6 minutes earlier. Now she got to keep going back earlier and earlier.
Oh man.
Okay, so I get that. I do.
Oh, nigga, the ship is alive? I just thought that was a random narrator that was just talking to us whenever we got the. I didn't realize that was the ship narrating to them.
Rita's made you realize it. I think it was last episode when she was like, Shipley. It's the ship talks.
But I didn't connect it to what did it for
I'm not gonna lie.
Time was I had the closed captioning on and it said Shipley is like talking. So what would you like me? I was like, hey, the ship is actually talking to her. Like I just thought that I just literally thought it was just for whatever reason, because the show is weird, that there was just a narrator who talks whenever you get into the ship. I did not realize that the narrator was the ship calling shit out as they see it. So
she has a moment of humanity. And this is I just want, like Rita was like, yeah, whatever, Shipley. And then even Madame Rouge just went through. I wanted somebody to be like, shut the fuck up. Like I want somebody to tell the ship to shut up just to see what the ship says. Like there's certain things this show can do. Again, it's for the season and what it was, it wrapped up pretty well for the most part. Let's say that. There again, plot hole withstanding, it wrapped up pretty well. Going into season 4, they go into the future like 3 minutes to battle a giant pair of nuts, which I was like, this is on par with the show. Like this is like what it's like. What is that? A sack? That sack is fate. I mean, I guess there isn't anything bad I think that can be said overall about this finale and the way they wrapped up the season. It is surprising that you take one of their greatest villains in Madame Rouge and you make her now an ally. You put her on the team.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is always interesting because, again, even down the road, she could be evil. But I think, like you and I were saying, I think Rita's the villain in this one because of her distrust of Madame Rouge. And I don't think she still fully remembers. I don't think she's gotten her full memory back yet of what her life was with the team before the time travel.
Somehow she did, and I don't know how that happened.
Is that when the times were meshing or stuff like that?
I guess so. Maybe that's what did it, but yeah. So
because I know that's how Madame Rouge got her memories back.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was interesting that Rita also hid the time ship inside of the bureau because that they went and saw the remains of the. She went and saw because she did the look at me, don't look at me,
love me,
love me, don't look at me. Like she, exactly. Is this our thing? Love me. Don't look at me. Like, which was kind of sad because it was Rouge genuinely realizing she hardcore fucked up. And having, like you said, had to make amends more or less, and this was her attempt of trying to do so. You know what I mean? But that's the whole thing, man. I am really impressed with what they did this season. I am really impressed with the topics that they tried to tackle. and that they did very successfully in a lot of ways.
We forgot to mention one important part.
Mm.
Vic was able to hold Keeg inside of him
for a very short period of time.
But we don't know.
Very short period of time, bro. Because remember, they got Flint fucking teleported their ass back to the fucking mansion.
Yeah.
Because, bro, or it wasn't Flint, it was the fog. The fog.
The fog
transported him.
Yeah.
Because, and then Vic was like, oh, like the nigga sounded like he was about to give birth. Like I was concerned for a second.
Vic almost like got his legs in the air. Push! You're like, where's this baby coming out of? Like,
But I have an interesting question. It was so interesting that the bandages kept
Keeg out
from getting in. Yes, because how many times did the negative spirit just come flying out?
Well, because he's a baby. He's a baby.
He's just not strong enough yet.
He's not strong enough.
Okay.
I think that's why the negative spirit was a grown ass man, like that's been around for 60 plus years, just inside of Larry.
Just been impregnating people and shit.
Like it's going to be hilarious. Larry calling out Keeg and a baby spirit not knowing what to do. Because remember when him and the spirit kind of got on the same page, he could say negative spirit release, and it would go and it would tear some asses up. Like he could shoot out Keeg just around and just just grab some random shit, like don't care. Like I think that's gonna be interesting to see.
It will be, and I'll tell you the one thing that I just thought about right now, though, which kind of bums me out, is like, sure, you can kind of point it and shit, but I always thought that this was kind of shitty for like both Bruce Banner and shitty for Larry. You're not actually in control of your powers. It is technically a completely other entity, so you don't ever get the actual chance to punch the hell out of a Leviathan. You don't actually get the chance of shooting your electric body out and zapping everybody. Like it genuinely is the other entity inside of you doing all the work. Which
nigga. Vic is useless now. He is hella
sure. So while he did lean on Grid, it's still his arm. He's the one still aiming.
But now he is hella useless.
Yeah.
Jane and Kay found out. She was happy to be part of the team, but Kay was like, I don't have powers. And Rita was like, you're useless.
Which is a lie. She had powers. She just didn't know.
Well, yeah, she has a scream that broke down the whole fucking underground because the scream is what tore the underground down.
Yeah.
But again, it was just like in general, Kay has ability, Jane doesn't. So like Jane is technically, she's the strongest, but in a sense, as of now, the most useless, if you will, because she doesn't have any abilities. Anytime she needs something, it's somebody else got to come through. So
no, that's true. That's totally true. So I wanted to ask you, man, what would you rate the episode and what would you rate the season?
I would rate the episode on a scale of 1 to 5. I give the episode a 4.75. Again, that little plot hole about the, self-destruction changes it. But overall, for a season, this is a 5 because again, it hit on so much, on so many. It explored so much and went in depth so deeply to like make you just look outside of the fact you're watching a comic book superhero show.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I respect that. I would say for the episode, I got to give it 4.5. Again, like I know it seems like a minor plot hole.
Mm-hmm.
That's like you just didn't address it like at all. So either there was a self-destruct sequence or it wasn't, but they were like, I think you turned my self-destruct and they were freaking out. So just even acknowledging it was turned off or clipped it to like that's all I need. That to me was a pretty big plot hole.
Yeah.
And as far as the season, I would probably say I give it a 4.75. And the reason why is I loved so many of the conversations that were had with what Vic was going through, with Larry, with Rita, all of that. I just think if I was ranking the seasons in order, I would go 1, 3, 2. You know what I mean? And so in that regard, I got to give a little wiggle room for one to have a higher ranking in that regard. So 4.75 seems like an appropriate place to put the season with some of the things that didn't fully vibe for me, but most of it was amazing. I mean, you go back and watch these reviews, we've been having a ball this entire season,
I agree. I think, if I looked at the rate, and here's the problem where it's hard to rank it for me, because again, the season finale wasn't the season finale. Whereas the season
Yeah,
premiere,
I get it, but unfortunately, it's kind of how the chips fall. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that's fair.
We had a lot of good stuff in season 2. Like, I mean, obviously, the sex ghosts, the collective orgasm was fucking hilarious. Like,
Bro,
there was a lot in season 2 to love, but like season 1, it was so fresh. It was so ridiculous. Like the final fight between the rat and the roach fucking fighting and fucking and that whole Rita thing. Like, I got a little more climax. No pun intended. Yeah, no puns intended. From that first season than I did from this one, if that makes sense. But it was certainly more of a finish here than last season. But we know that COVID was the one that was the real villain there. So yeah.
No, that makes sense. And we just want to know at the end of the day, what did you think about this season down below? All right. We know it's a little bit later than expected, but you ain't got a new episode this week, so you just got this to talk about. Just let us know what you thought about the season finale, the season as a whole, down below. We are also working on having on Blerds one of the writers, so he will be on Blerds in the Hood. So make sure you subscribe to the Blerds in the Hood channel for that. But while you're here, subscribe. Whatever's coming out next that we figure we should talk about, because I don't know what you want to do next. Because, like, whenever Harley Quinn comes back, we're going to do that. We wanted to be Goons 1 and 2 so bad.
That's okay. It happens.
It happens.
I understand. But it's,
But nonetheless, you can find me at Mr. J Washington, him at the Swaggy Blerd. Like I said, Blerds in the Hood every Tuesday and Thursday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. on the East Coast, youtube.com and twitch.tv, /Blerds in the Hood, BLERDS, the letter NTHEHOOD. Thank y'all for rocking with us again for another season, man. Stay tuned for when we come up with more. Check us out over on Blerds in the Hood, all right? We out here. Shut up. It happened. It happens.
You don't speak color, huh? You don't speak color? You need Mama Pentecost to help you out, bro? You having some trouble?
Man, this shit now.
If you can read one full page of a Harry Potter book, nigga, I'll give $750,000 to whatever charitable organization you want to.